Welcome to another edition of The Manual. He is the Professor Alton Woods. I am Chip Rice. And, man, did you see?
Got a lot of NBA stuff.
We did, man.
We
Did
got a
you
lot.
see Mac McClung? This was actually an enjoyable
It was.
dunk
It
contest.
was.
It was really, really good. And we were just like shocked by Mac McClung. And that first dunk, got everybody's attention. And mostly because he's 6'2". Yeah.
That's what it's listed as.
Yeah.
Which probably makes him 5'11"
With
and a half.
with the thick shoes on, yeah.
Yeah.
But we're like, man, they put on a show. And I thought it was just so cool that you're starting to see the G League be more development.
Yeah.
He was the Rookie of the Year in 2022, and now he had just signed a contract with Philly and came up to do. But so I didn't know he was like an Instagram superstar.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he's a social media superstar. There's a few of those guys out there, man.
Yeah. So I heard Stephen A. Smith say that if you really want to take the dunk contest and put it way out there, have people audition and try out, all over the country,
right?
And then get them to be sponsored by one of the NBA All Stars.
Yes.
Put up $1 million for first, 500,000 for second.
That'd be really
$1 million for first, and I go find me some springs or something to see what I could do.
Nowadays, when you hitting it off the back, you jumping over somebody on someone else's shoulders, hitting it off the backboard and slamming,
and the dunk.
I mean, we gonna need more than springs, because these boys can go. And I mean, shout out to my man Trey Murphy.
He was
really nice, and I'm pulling for my Pelicans, but when Matt did what he did, I said, okay.
Yeah, that one dunk Murphy did, going to do the monster dunk, and then turned it and went backwards. I was like, how do you do that in the air?
He's nasty.
Yeah. So that was a lot of fun. So if y'all didn't watch it, go back and watch it, because I think you'll enjoy it.
Absolutely.
It's another edition of The Manual. So, it's The Manual. Check us out online at YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, at The Manual, the number 4U. Love to have your comments and you joining in with us. So this week, today is Monday, the 20th of February.
It is.
Which means that last week was Valentine's Day.
That's right.
And so the question is now whether or not some Valentines really got what they wanted for Valentine's Day.
Well, we have to be gender specific here.
Yeah,
because the men wanted one thing, and the women wanted something different. Let's be real. Well, maybe not something different, but something in addition.
Yeah. In addition to.
In addition to.
And so maybe the sister didn't get that ring that she thought she was going to get for Valentine's Day, and she may have acted like she was cool with it, but she's not.
She's not.
So the question then becomes, we saw the movie Why Did I Get Married? I guess the question for us is, why didn't I get married? What's the hold up? What's the problem?
Whew, that's deep.
It is.
And there's a lot of variables. Age. Because what I find is, as you get older, you don't need as much time to know if the person is the right person.
Exactly.
Right. And that's men and women.
Yeah.
Right. So age, length of relationship, where people see themselves in their particular season of their life, are they able to properly provide and take care of it? All of those kind of things are real variables. And then, of course, the old adage, why buy the cow
if you can get the milk
get the milk for free? So there's a lot of layers to this conversation. And we also, I guess, need to separate the reasons why a man might not get married versus a woman might not get married. Because they're not the same.
Right.
And since we talk to men, I guess men is the side we need to jump on first.
Yeah, we need to get with the men. So I was looking at a Pew Research article, and this is from the Pew Research Center, and it says uh, a relationship. It talks about what a relationship. It says that a new Pew Research Center analysis of census data finds that in 2019, roughly 4 in 10 adults ages 25 to 54, that's 38%, were unpartnered. So they weren't married or living with a partner. It says this is sharply up from 29% in 1990. Men are now more likely than women to be unpartnered, which wasn't the case 30 years ago. Men are likely to be unpartnered. And so now we got to ask the question, why?
Right. And can we add, I don't have a research paper for this one, but I think it's true. And if we also look at the ratio of women to men.
Okay.
Meaning men have several options. Like if you take the men who are married already out of the equation, maybe I should say married and faithful, but the married already out of the equation.
Okay.
You take men who might be incarcerated, so they're unavailable to women
out
of the equation.
Right.
And men who don't like women out of the equation.
Okay.
Then what's left is a whole lot of women to a shrinking eligible male population.
Right.
So for a man to be more likely to not be married, not only is shocking in and of itself, but when you consider the options, you can find a woman that you want to be with, that you could be with, easier now than maybe at times in the past.
Right.
So the math is not mathing.
It's not mathing. And it's interesting that we have told women, okay, be patient. God's gonna, he's gonna bring you that person, everything else. But the anxiety behind the pool shrinking, has got to be something that we need to talk about and deal with, because now you're saying, okay, there's a man out there for me, but the man may not be available.
Right.
The man might not even want me. And I know of some situations where you have men with marriages of convenience, where they're living a totally different lifestyle.
That's right.
We went through a whole season, maybe 15 years ago, I say about 15, 20 years ago, about the down low thing that was going on, where, you had a lot of men who were married but had relationships with other men. Right. So married to women but having relationship with other men. So now you're trying to feel, okay, what's up with the man that he's shunning marriage?
Right. So if we kind of ignore some of the other pockets that we just talked about and deal primarily with men who want women, may even want to be married. At least they think they want to be married, and then they're just choosing not to. Right. Let's shrink the population to that population first.
Okay.
I did some reading, and one of the things they said the number one reason why men don't get married is a fear of loss of freedom. Right. I get to do me. Right. Now, if we can all be just real honest for a second, there's nothing like, we both married, not to each other. But there's nothing like getting home sometimes and nobody's there. And you can lay where you want. It's quiet. What you put down is right where you left it. So
what you want to go get out of the refrigerator, you can.
Right.
With no condemnation.
No condemnation. No, why are you eating that? Or what? None of that. What you want to watch is uninterrupted on TV. What you want to watch on TV is uninterrupted, and you could fall asleep and then rewind it however many times you want to.
Absolutely.
Nobody's saying just turn it off. You keep going to sleep anyway. So there's admittedly a level of attraction in doing it your way.
Right. But I think what men don't understand is those moments are just that.
Yes.
They're moments. It's not something that I want all of the time.
No.
It's just something that I like, periodically.
Right.
And I think that sometimes some women don't understand that him wanting to be alone does not mean that he don't want to be with you.
Right.
He just wants to be alone for a minute.
Yeah.
And I promise it's not going to last long because he's going to want to be back with you because of what you bring to the table.
Right. Ooh. Commercial break.
Commercial break.
For all women who are watching, I want you to remember one thing when it comes to your man. It's not always about you.
Yes.
Meaning he could be in a bad mood. It may not be about you.
Mm-hmm.
He can want some alone time. May not be about you.
Mm-hmm.
He can just want to do something else. It may not be about you.
Mm-hmm.
I just needed to say that because I think a lot of times women internalize everything.
Yes.
If you want to be, you want to have some alone times, that means to them,
Right.
you don't want to be
you
with
don't
me.
be with me.
Right. No. I don't want to be with anybody. Right. It's not about you. Right. And so I just needed to say that. Commercial break over. We're back to the regularly scheduled program.
Absolutely.
All right.
So we have to understand that that's just an attribute as far as men are concerned.
Right.
Another thing that sometimes comes up in conversation about why I'm not mad is, she stuff like she's tripping, or like, she just go off, she's tripping. And I want to let every man know it doesn't matter where she comes from, Australia, China, Russia,
Africa,
Egypt. Yeah, right. Watts, Canada, Hawaii, Japan, North Korea. Doesn't matter where they come from. They all do it.
They all do it. So
you won't find one on the planet that won't. They all do.
They all do it. And there's things we all do.
Right.
But this freedom thing I find interesting because I feel like, and I get it, because I remember before I got married, not obviously it didn't deter me, but I did have these moments of what I won't be able to do anymore. Right. So, I mean, if I can just be transparent for a second, that's cool. But what I've found, truthfully, is a greater level of freedom in my marriage than I had as a single man.
Yeah.
So my weekends are free now. And what I mean by that is before I was married, I was trying to figure out who am I going to go out with? Where am I going to go? Those thoughts don't even come up anymore. I already know who I'm going to be with.
Not an issue.
Not an issue. And so the freedom of trying to figure out my life is present. Like I don't have to deal with the pressure of trying to figure out my life. I kind of know where I'm going because we've had discussions not only about the now, but the future.
And you don't have to deal with variety.
Yes.
I think that sometimes men, we get caught up in what we see.
Right.
And you don't understand how peaceful it is to know that, okay, I have in my house who I have satisfied with it. I'm going to always see something that may look different, it doesn't matter what it is. You're going to, just like, it's like a pair of shoes. You're going to always see another nice pair somewhere else. But I have something substantial in my house that I committed to, and I don't have to keep trying to get moved by variety.
And, it's funny, I was watching part of the All-Star game last night. And, periodically, they'll pan the crowd and, and they'll show something. And I was like,
Right.
And, so you TV, in person, whatever, there's always going to be something that looks great. In fact, if we can be honest, we love new. So we love to chase, hunt, and capture. And then once we've captured, we're ready to go chase, hunt again.
Why do people keep hunting? They're not hunting because they're hungry.
No.
They're going out for the next hunt.
Right? So I think we got to get our arms wrapped around freedom and what it really is. True indeed. You when you get married, it is a covenant and a connection point. That means you don't just do what you want to do without the requisite conversation and give and take. So yes, in that respect, you don't truly have the freedom. I guess you do, but there's consequences to it, I should say.
Right.
That if you exercise the freedom to just say, I'm just going out, I'm not saying anything, I'm just going to do what I want to do. Well, we're all grown and can make choices, but there's consequences to it, right?
Absolutely.
So, but the thing about it is, if this is the person you love and want to be with, why would your freedom put that in jeopardy?
Absolutely.
Anyway?
Right. If this is what you're supposed to have in a relationship, I'm not going to do anything to position it so that I fail.
That's right.
And a wife is called in scripture a helpmeet.
Correct.
Which lets me know that she wouldn't have been called a helpmeet if I didn't need help.
That's right.
And most of us can navigate most stuff in life, but your life is not what it's supposed to be because you won't make the proper connection with the person that can help you be what you're supposed to be. Sometimes that wife, the what you call nagging or getting mad or whatever else, she's trying to sharpen you.
That's right.
She's trying to help you see another side so that you can be better. And we'll miss that and think that it's nagging and complaining and just, just say, oh, forget it and going from there. But you can dismiss all that nagging and complaining when y'all hit the bedroom. It's
Absolutely.
like you don't even think about it.
You don't care nothing about the nag.
Much as you nag and complain, come here, girl.
Right.
So now you dishonor her because basically what you're saying, I just need you to maintenance me whenever it is that I need it done.
Correct. Number 2, fear of potential divorce. That's the number 2 reason.
Okay.
Right. And I kind of get that. I get that in its authenticity, but I also get it in its excuse.
Yes.
Right. And so,
right.
Authenticity, absolutely. Data says 50% of marriages end in divorce. Right. That number may have changed, but that was the last numbers I saw. 50% ends in divorce. Now, you got to peel the onion back to understand, because there's subcategories in there you have to deal with. Right. So number 1 is if you've been married 63 times and you haven't changed anything, then guess what's going to happen on the 64th? It's got to be a divorce, right?
It's going to happen.
It's going to happen. It's absolutely going to happen. And there's nothing mysterious about it. And now you've added 64 divorces to this statistic.
Because you will not deal with you.
You will not deal with
you. will not deal with you. And boy, one of the things that changed my life, that got me to the point where I said, okay, I'm going to marry Thursday, I'm going to make a decision about my life, is that I had to deal with me.
Yes.
There was something wrong with my character.
Correct.
And I had to deal with my character, my integrity. Once I dealt with that, I made a decision. And so a lot of times in relationships, we looking at what's wrong with them.
Right.
And it's like, okay, there's a common denominator somewhere. Because, we talk about divorce, but then how many breakups have you had? How many girlfriends have you dated that you left there? It's the same thing. So there's obviously a commitment problem.
Absolutely.
Can't deal with it.
Right. So in its authenticity, the authentic side of this also is society have done such a terrible job at maintaining the fidelity of marriage and highlighting the failures of marriage that and the drama. Because I think we can be completely honest and say divorce, albeit that I haven't experienced it personally, but is traumatic.
Very.
Right. It is financially taxing. It is emotionally draining. It is spiritually defeating.
It can become physically
physical. Yep. And we haven't even talked about kids involved, which makes it even more.
Right.
So I can get that there is a natural caution. I want to use the right word here, because now I'm not saying there should be a fear, but there's a natural caution. But I believe when you connect with the right person for the right reasons in the right season of your life, you do the proper maintenance on yourself and on your relationship, because none of us can change the other person.
Right.
We do it in the right way, which, yes, marriage is an institution created by God, so God should be in the center of it.
Absolutely.
Right. And you do all of those things. It doesn't mean that it's destined only for success, because you still have choices to make along the way.
Yep.
But you minimize a lot of the things that can destine it for failure.
Right. I have a spiritual factor in this.
Absolutely.
That if I listen can help me navigate through even a bad decision that I make.
Correct.
The history is full of people who are married who made a poor choice in their marriage, but yet were still able to overcome that poor choice to be better.
Correct.
And a major factor in that is God, knowing, okay, what do I do? This is what I did. I'm wrong. I need to fix this, whatever it is. So divorce happens. But if God says he hates something, that means that he's got all the information needed in order for you to be successful in that area.
That's right.
We don't just look at it as, oh, God's going to hate me for this. It's like, no, I hate it because I have all the tools that you need to be successful in marriage.
That's right. The and another element that I find at work in my relationship is I can go to God about my wife, right?
Mm-hmm.
I can't go to her mother or her friends because they are her mother and her friends.
Right. And normally they'll side.
And normally they will side with her.
Right.
But I can say, God, I don't understand what's going on. So something's different, or I need your help. And when I say go to God about my wife, not to change my wife, but for insight about my wife.
Yes.
Now, God is so smart that he may direct me to do something different to produce a different outcome. Or he may work on my wife absent me to produce a different outcome. That's his sovereignty and all knowingness that comes into play here. But my point is, it gives me someone who is objective.
Right.
And who wants the best for both parties equally.
Right.
To go to.
Right.
So y'all know when you messed up in your relationship, you can talk to her friends and her sister and her mama. Even if they like you, they might be pleasant with you.
Right. And sometimes they'll be like, yeah, my daughter tripping or whatever it is. But they still have an affinity towards that person. So you need to make sure that you have God in it.
Absolutely.
So that you can get a totally objective word or insight concerning whatever it is that's going on.
Right.
Because if you want to do the relationship right. You want to do it right.
And I use the other side, but yes, and your mama and your boys are going to try to make you feel like you're right. So that's not the answer either. What you need is a person sincerely in the middle whose only interest is the success of your relationship and the best for both people individually. Right.
So, all right. So I want to take it here now.
Okay.
I want y'all to stop playing. Stop playing, man. You got a good girl that's there with you. Some of y'all done had babies by. She's shown that she'll stick with you. What? Stop playing. What's going on?
I had a moment. I'm glad you said that. In I think it was our last episode, but if not, it was one of them, where I said believers should have boundaries. Society's changing. I had someone explain to me not long ago that people view marriage as a greater commitment. Let me back up. People are more willing to have kids together than they are to commit to each other. Wow. Right? And here's how the story unfolded. Someone said to me, we were talking about the Super Bowl and the halftime show. And they said they would, when, we were looking at it, right? And we look at, man, Rihanna's got to be pregnant. Like, but in the mix, the conversation came up with, I'm so happy that for Rihanna because she really wanted another baby. Right? And I'm sitting here thinking, why don't she just get a husband first? Right? Like I get it. I think we both could share our testimony. I'm not saying I even made the right decisions in that space before, right?
Absolutely.
So I'm not saying it to be critical, but now I'm on the other side of this thing and have a better, deeper understanding of it. And I'm like, okay, but it would be better for her to create the level of commitment that marriage brings to, as you bring the children into the world, for them to see it and grow up in it, right? So there's that. And so then, but the reaction was, yeah, that may be true, but in my generation, my friends say things like, oh, I'll have a baby with him. And this is a female that I'm talking to. Wow. I'll have a baby with him, but now I don't know about marrying him. And so things have gotten out of whack as time passes.
We gotta be careful. Now, we probably have to jump on this again because this goes to the minimization, the emasculation of the man, of the father, of who he's supposed to be. Because now you're saying that I can do this by myself. I can handle this by myself, and all I really need you for is to just impregnate me, and go ahead and have this kid. And now we're subconsciously saying that a man is not necessary.
Correct. And because in the short term, it feeds our physical need as a man, we play into it also.
We buy
You're
into
right.
it.
Fine, we can have sex. We don't have to be committed.
Right.
Until that baby comes. And then all HE double hockey sticks.
Right. Now
race.
we in court. Now we hollering and screaming outside the house. Now we texting and everything else. Now we got all of this chaos.
Right.
Because we didn't choose to do it right.
Correct. Correct.
Wow. Man, we might have to jump back on this on the next manual. Make sure you drop your comments in on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube. We want to hear what you have to say concerning this marriage topic and how it affects men and what men should be doing. So hit us up on that.
That's right.
That'd be a good one. For the Professor Alton Woods, I'm Chip Rice, and y'all have a great day.